Recording live from the ARC studios, welcome to the Sustainability Podcast. Our goal is to provide engaging discussions on a broad range of topics regarding cybersecurity, sustainability, supply chain management, plus much more. For more information and to get into contact with us, visit us at arcweb.com.
Welcome to today's episode of the Sustainability Podcast from ARC Advisory Group, where we dive deep into the world of sustainability and the energy transition, exploring the innovations and challenges that shape our future. Today's topic is a circular economy for plastics and polymers. I'm your host, Harry Forbes of ARC Advisory Group, and today we have two special guests with us to enlighten us on this topic. First, Delphine Largeteau, who is Global Sustainability Consulting Director of Energies and Chemicals at Schneider Electric, and also Yasmine McColl, who is Global Business Development Leader for Chemicals at Schneider Electric. Delphine and Yasmine, welcome to the podcast, and thank you for being here. Yasmine, maybe you could give us a short introduction to yourself and explain how your work ties into this topic of circular economy for plastics and polymers.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Thanks, Harry. Hi, everyone. Like Harry said, I'm Yasmine McColl. I'm a Global Business Development Leader for Schneider Electric for the chemical segment. I leverage over 20 years of experience to drive new opportunities worldwide in my current role. My domain expertise with Schneider process automation, I use my expertise to enable our customers to meet their sustainability and circularity goals through process electrification, and energy efficiency and digital transformation.
Thank you, Yasmine. Delphine, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in this topic?
Yeah, sure. I would be happy to. Thank you, Harry. So my name is Delphine Largeteau, and as of January 2024, I actually lead the global strategic initiative around sustainable plastic for the energy and chemical segment at Schneider Electric. And through this initiative, we develop our offer and business in this new industry, mainly focusing on plastic recycling, both mechanical recycling and chemical recycling. I also act as a liaison with our green plastic and circularity team in R&D and procurement. And prior to Schneider, I have over 20 years of experience in the refining and petrochemical industry, working for a major technology licensor.
Okay, thank you, Delphine. I appreciate it. The concept of circularity is pretty well understood. It's been around for decades. But Delphine, I would maybe ask you a little bit why there is a lot of growing interest in this topic right now. What do you think the reason is?
Right. Yes. Well, if you look, human demand on nature exceeds our planet's ability to regenerate resources. So our collective needs, if we think about what we need to, in terms of energy, materials, actually represent 1.75 times more than what our planet can regenerate each year. So basically, we're overspending on resources, which is completely unsustainable. Second, we have seen also a decline from 2018 in the secondary material consumed by our global economy. So we've actually seen a little bit of a decline in that circularity. And third, if we're focusing on plastic, essentially, we see that there will be an increase in plastic production in the years to come to reach 1 gigaton by 2050 of plastic productions. And then if you look at some recent reports like the OECD report on plastic outlooks, you will see very interestingly that only about 10% of the plastic that we are producing is actually recycled. Otherwise, a lot ends up in landfill or being incinerated or worse, leaked into the environment. So this is why action is really needed now.
Okay. Delphine, let me follow up by asking you a little bit about what the trends are for recycling specifically in North America and Europe.
Well, I think, what we see right now is Europe taking the leads in terms of infrastructure and regulation. You may have seen in the recent weeks that the PPWR, which is the packaging and packaging waste recycling regulation, has been finalized in Europe. It doesn't mean that the text has been fully approved yet, but it certainly is a step in the right direction, ensuring that all packaging on the EU market will be reusable or recyclable in an economically viable way by 2030, to boost the uptake of recycled content, to improve also the requirements, enforceability and harmonization across the EU, and to prevent also over packaging and reduce packaging waste. So you see this PPWR is really important and will set the pace for Europe in terms of packaging. Maybe if we go to the US, there is a lack of progress at federal levels, but we see some movements at states level. I think I recall that about 24 states have signed a chemical recycling laws, which will also develop the chemical recycling, which we think is really also very important to close the plastic loop, in addition to the mechanical recycling. And we have some states in the US with EPR schemes, so extended responsibility for producer, like in California, Oregon, Colorado, and Maine. One of the challenges is still accessing the feedstock for all these regions.
Okay. In other words, gathering the material from consumers and assembling it for recycling. That's the challenge you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely, Harry. That is a challenge that we see.
Okay, thank you. Yasmine, I would like to know a little bit about the difference in technologies that are used for recycling, because the consumer just sees it go out in a bin and after that it's missing. Can you kind of talk about mechanical recycling and more advanced technologies for recycling and what the landscape is like there?
Sure. So we have two types of recycling: mechanical recycling and chemical recycling. And both of these processes are very necessary to have to meet our circularity goals in the world. And they do have some things in common. For example, both of these processes have to go through similar steps for sorting plastics mainly coming from the post-consumer plastic waste. For example, these yellow bins that you see in Europe, or the green bins that you might see in the US in some of the states. But the processes are very different. Mechanical recycling typically has a step that cleans up the plastic while it preserves its structure, and it's pretty well developed and it's already been used in many places. So it's a pretty proven technology and accessible in many regions. Chemical recycling, we have different types of technologies around chemical recycling right now. Some of these technologies, such as liquefaction through pyrolysis or hydrothermal processes, depolymerization, and there's more innovation happening in this space. What happens with chemical the chemical gets break down into fundamental molecules or building blocks, and it can be processed in the petrochemical and chemical value chain, depending on the technology. These solutions really give an opportunity to be able to recycle a lot of different types of plastics. But like I said, chemical recycling and mechanical recycling are complementary, and we need both of them in order to meet our circularity goals. On mechanical recycling, the cost is on the CapEx side is less CapEx intensive, and it's more energy efficient. Chemical recycling has its own benefits. It's more innovative, and we have a lot of new technology in this space. But we need to help our customers to lower the CapEx spending and bring some of these technologies into fruition. And together, with the technologies companies like Schneider Electric and other industry partners, I think chemical recycling has a lot of potential and opportunity for growth.
Can I drill down on that a little bit, Yasmine, and ask you specifically about Schneider Electric and how Schneider Electric plays a role in these new processes? Can you explain some of that? What are the things that you can bring to these new processes for recycling?
Sure. I'm happy to kind of give you some of the highlights of how we can help our customers and technology providers. We can enable them to use our technologies. So we are a technology company and an energy management company. So with the solutions that we have, we can help our customers to push more boundaries when it comes to innovation and for technology and engineering. Also, our solutions around digitalization and modularization are key enablers for the project execution. And also, we are always looking for areas for collaboration and partnership and the various stakeholders in the plastic recycling area, because we are very much vested in this space. We've been #1 sustainable company in the world, and we have our own sustainability team that's looking at off-taking recycled material. And we do quite a bit of investment in this space for our own sake. To make the plastic recycling a reality, we need to help our customers to reduce the risk and the capex of these projects. We need to enable our customers to reduce the carbon footprint and increase the traceability in the entire ecosystem. So the 3 ways that Schneider can enable our customers is through integration across full life cycle of the projects, through modularization and innovations around control system with open automation. And I can give you a little bit more detail on each point, and we can dive in a little bit more on maybe on the open automation deeper with Delphine. On the integration side, it is very important to integrate these projects from the project inception all the way to operation to reduce capex and opex. We have, because we are an energy management company and we are an industrial automation company, we have an ability to integrate the power and process for the projects. This combination helps our customers to reduce the capex spending for EIC scope. That would be your electrical instrumentation and control scope, by about 20%. So when you think about these projects being capex heavy, 20% savings on the EIC scope can translate to significant savings. And also through AVEVA, because Schneider also owns AVEVA now, through building a simulation model with AVEVA processes and ETAP on the electrical side, and using technologies around digital twin, we can enable our customers to shorten the time on the project schedule and also reduce operating risks. So all of that helps our customers to reduce risk in capex. On the modularization, that's a little bit of a different concept and more specifically on the electrical and automation component of the project. Our customers can benefit from optimizing the delivery schedule and lowering the carbon footprint for the plants. The modularization also enables our customers to enhance safety and security for operation. Many of these advanced recycling or chemical recycling projects use a modularization approach on the process side to help them streamline the projects, lower the capex, and lower the carbon footprint. And it seems to be this e-house concept that Schneider can implement can be very beneficial for the investors in this space. And the third one is open automation. And I would like for Delphine maybe to take a stab at it and maybe talk a little bit more details on open automation.
Sure, do that, Delphine, because that's open automation topic is near and dear to my heart. So go ahead.
Yes, it's actually also very dear to my heart now. If we look at industrial automation, it actually has followed a different path compared with the IT world. It hasn't really changed much in the last 50 years in a way. And this is partly due to the over-reliance on proprietary systems, and they pose some barriers to innovation. And we see with plastic recycling and circularity, we need innovative solutions. So right now, automation systems are pretty much closed, proprietary, and largely driven by hardware. And automation is also uncoordinated to integrate with the various players. And if you think about the plastic recycling value chain that we've been discussing, you have the mechanical recycling, the chemical recycling, and you need this traceability, this breaking the silos between all these components. And right now, the current automation system cannot allow that seamless integration. So we really believe at Schneider that it's not really hardware, but software that is driving automation to the next level. And we've taken on that journey 4 years ago. We first founded a nonprofit organization called universalautomation.org to develop the community of suppliers and user and researcher, and by creating also a next generation of automation system, a software-defined automation application called EcoStruxure Automation Expert, using this concept of universal automation principles.
Okay, I appreciate that. Maybe, Delphine, could you follow up by giving me a more concrete example of how this fits in both to the concept of open automation and to circularity in plastics?
Yeah, we are convinced that this is a game changer that can unlock great value in energy transition application, and in particular in plastic recycling, because it allows standardization, risk reduction, scale up, and integration. So in this space, we see a lot of new technologies, as Yasmine was mentioning before, and scaling up is key for them. For those new technology. There's also the CapEx, and when you think about chemical recycling, that is an important factor. So the risk reduction is key here. And how the new automation will actually allow this? Well, it's because it's being open for seamless integration. It's a modular approach as well. So it's very easy to replicate and easy to meet tomorrow's needs for expansion, for example. And by being agnostic also to both hardware and vendor, which will actually really bring you some openness and flexibility as well. And finally, it also includes a lot of different communication protocols so that we can communicate to a lot of different systems that are already out there in the field today. If you think about mechanical recycling, for example. So these platforms allow you to build application using software components that are portable and easy to install on any automation hardware. So you can see the scale up could be easier, and also the modularization, the replicability is key here. And we already have a great example with the company GR3N with their innovative chemical process. The technology is called MADE and is a microwave-assisted depolymerization process for hard-to-recycle PET. The technology actually breaks down the waste PET from packaging to textile, but in generally hard-to-recycle materials into TPA and MEG, the chemical building blocks. After a conventional polymerization technology will turn the monomer back to the polymer form, producing fully recycled PET with identical quality as virgin PET. So GR3N has now an operating demonstration plant in Italy using the EcoStruxure Automation Expert on the whole plant, and they have plans to advance their technology to industrial scale in Spain. This demonstration plan, as I said, is fully based on EcoStruxure Automation Expert solution.
You know, let me bring these things back together full circle. You've talked about integration, you've talked about modularization and software-defined automation, open automation. When we talk about open automation, can you explain a little bit more, Delphine, about how that works over a whole life cycle of a facility, especially a capital-intensive facility?
Well, over the life cycle, it's designed more than from the software perspective, as we said, where specific application can be plugged onto. So once you've developed your application, and you can, by the way, do this directly at the engineering stage of your project, which is also a game changer compared to the traditional automation method where you would do your automation at the end of your project. Here, you do it a lot earlier, so you're actually minimizing the risk as well. And once you've developed the application, you can import also external digital application to be part of the system along the life cycle. So, and when you're a vendor agnostic, you decide what technology you want to use to shape your innovation, not the other way around. So you can really, in all the life cycle of your project, of the plant, you can add on or even upgrade your system a lot more easily.
Well, thank you. Yasmine, I'd like to know a little bit about how businesses could work with Schneider Electric on the circularity concept. It's maybe your role there as a business development person to address that. Can you give us a little guidance on how companies could work with Schneider Electric on these areas?
Yes, absolutely. There's a whole new ecosystem to build when we think about circular models. And there's so many different ways businesses can work with Schneider. For example, we have this pillar called Use Better pillar. In this pillar, we are aiming to source the best-in-class green material and manufacturing our products as efficiently as possible. We strive to maximize the use of material with highly recycled content while minimizing the manufacturing cost. For example, today, our products are made with 29% green material. We're aiming to increase that to 50% by 2025 while recovering 99% of the waste. We also have two other pillars called Use the Longer and Use Again pillars. With Use the Longer, we are aiming to extend the lifespan of our products. And this also involves repair-based, condition-based repairs, digitally enabled maintenance, and equipment modernization. We also have EcoFit and EcoCare at Schneider that extend the lifespan of the product by 25%. And these programs also help to reduce the installation's carbon footprint. In Use Again pillar, we are aiming to recirculate our products and parts in the economy and for instance, undertaking efforts to refurbish and resell assets reaching their end use. And these type of products have the same type of guarantees as new products while we're helping to reduce the CO2 emissions by 45%. So yes, there are different ways in the value chain that we can work with other businesses, and there are a lot of stakeholders and businesses involved for smaller products, wholesalers to collect the end life of products and etc. In addition, we take a very opportunistic approach when it comes to startups and scaling up and de-risking their technologies. We are obviously very much interested for some of these companies to scale up their projects and their technologies so we can also offtake some of this green material. So by supporting this type of companies, we're helping them and enabling them to bring their projects into fruition.
Okay, thanks a lot. And we're going to close up now, and I'd like to ask each of you, starting with you, Yasmine, just kind of what are your key messages? I'm taking away the life cycle aspect, the modularity and open automation aspects of what you've talked about in these new technologies. But Yasmine, beginning with you, what are your key messages for stakeholders in this area?
Yeah, when it comes to circularity, honestly, Harry, we have no time to waste. We are already pushing a lot of boundaries with operating our assets and the way the environment is going. We need to get ahead of this using these technologies to make our industries more sustainable, and to make this circularity a reality. We need to collaborate. Nobody has all the answers to all the problems. So collaboration across industries is a key aspect to bring all the solutions to the table to help these projects get de-risk, to have de-risk the projects and lower the capex spending, so we can make these projects happen. As you mentioned, and you summarized very well, we do have great technologies that are available to accelerate this and transition to the circular economy, and Schneider expertise can definitely make an impact for when it comes to circular projects.
Thank you. And Delphine, I don't know what you would like to say at the end of this podcast, but I would say I'm kind of impressed by not just the technologies and the understanding that you bring here, but the fact that Schneider has its own commitment to use more and more circularity in its own products. But what would you say to our audience in closing, Delphine?
Yeah, I think maybe to echo what Yasmine just said, is that what we see in this industry, in this nascent industry, is that the circular plastic technology are available, but we need acceleration. And as we mentioned, Schneider has expertise to design and customize circularity solutions for this industry. And as our EVP Industrial Automation says, circularity is not only just about protecting the planet, it's also a new business model, and we all have to embrace it.
Well, Delphine and Yasmine, thank you both for joining me today on the ARC Sustainability Podcast. It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you all for listening to our Sustainability Podcast. This is Harry Forbes from ARC Advisory Group, and we've had a discussion with Delphine Largeteau and Yasmine McColl from Schneider Electric on the topic of a circular economy for plastics and polymers. Thank you very much for listening.